What's going on, y'all? Dante's Boxing Nation Live. It's going down like a plane crash, y'all. Boy, oh boy. We about to talk about it. We about to talk about this breaking news. Canelo Alvarez withdraws from the Golovkin rematch. Why? Why did he withdraw? Why didn't he wait for the hearing? What happens next? What happens with Canelo? What happens with Golovkin? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Let me go ahead and shout out a couple cats before we get the show started. What's going on to some of my first cats in the comment section? My man, King Corleone, Fernando Meza, Ghost Guy. He said, I would beat Anthony Joshua and Wilder at the same time. Okay, he just having fun in the comment section. Okay. Yeah, this beat right here, this is from Fear God. This is Fear God. The name of the song is Fear God. Shout out to Rujay. Rujay on the beat. Fear God. X-Con, what's going on? Yeah, man, we're about to go ahead and get started, man. We're about to go ahead and get started. Canelo Alvarez, once again, pulls out of the Golovkin fight, the rematch. He was suspended. He had a hearing on April 18th. Nevada State Athletic Commission, they filed a complaint against him, and Canelo decided to withdraw before the hearing. So we're going to talk about all of this, guys. We're about to go ahead and get started, y'all. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Y'all know what it is, man. Hashtag new media. Hashtag decaf busters. Let's get it, y'all. It's the nation all day. Let's get right into it. Go ahead and switch this camera. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, guys. So welcome to another live DBN show. Man, we got some serious breaking news today. Once again, guys, Canelo Alvarez has pulled out of the Golovkin rematch. Let's go ahead and talk about it. First things first, let me go ahead and introduce the panel as we always do at this time. I got my man, Money Pal the fourth, Money Pal the third. His son is the fourth, but he's a former fighter. And once again, his son is one of the best prospects in the world, Money Pal the fourth. What's going on, Money?
Hey, it's all good, Dante. What's happening, man?
All right, Money. And I got my man who's also a former fighter, my man Kirk Jackson. He's a writer on BoxingInsider.com. What's going on, Kirk Jackson?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How you doing?
All right, man. Let's go ahead and tackle this, man. Let's go ahead and tackle this. So once again, guys, for you guys who haven't heard, I mean, if you're just tuning in right now and you've been sleeping under a rock, Canelo Alvarez, he's withdrawn from the Golovkin fight. Let's go ahead. Well, shout out to Kirk Jackson. Kirk Jackson, you know, he was the one that sent me the story right away. So let's start with you, Kirk. How much of a surprise is this to you, man? And where does Golovkin and Canelo go from here? Why do you think he decided, I might as well ask you 2-3 questions at the same time. Why do you think he decided to withdraw as opposed to wait to that hearing on April 18th, Kirk?
I think he decided to withdraw because he wants to work with the commission. Usually, just according to the article, with your first offense, with failed drug testing or whatnot, it's a year suspension. According to the article, if he's working with the commission and showing some kind of goodwill, they may reduce the suspension to 6 months, dated from the failed test. So if he's able to do that, theoretically, that would lift his suspension in August, which would still make room for him and Golovkin to resume their fight in September. So I think that's what he's doing. He's making a preemptive strike to try and salvage the rematch, but just for a later date.
So you believe the fight is still going to happen, though, eventually, just not on May?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, now, Money, we just talked about this on the show this Sunday, and we did our little predictions on if the fight was going to go down. You said you pretty much had no doubt the fight was going to be canceled. Now that you're hearing the news, why did you think it was going to be canceled in the first place? Because you were right, Money.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But when you have the network pulling the promotions on it, that sold me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, once they started talking about refunding the money, that was the nail of all nails in the coffin.
Oh wow, yeah, that's.
But once you heard the commission say, "Hey, look, we're not going to be swayed by any money," that's when it was red flags waving right there. Mm-hmm. The elephant is in the room.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I had told you guys that a friend of mine who's a fighter, he talked to Canelo's trainer, and according to him, Canelo's trainer had told him about 5 days ago that Canelo wasn't fighting Golovkin, and he was already looking for another opponent, to fight somewhere, later on this year. So it's all bad. That's why I'm wondering. It's hard for me to believe that after all of this, Golovkin will go right back into training for another fight with Canelo. It seems to me like, they're done doing business. Money, what do you think? Because Kirk said they're most likely going to try to, work something out for September. Do you think they're going to do that, or you think it's just you think they're done doing business, Golovkin and Canelo?
Kirk made a solid point, but me personally, I think that won't happen until next year.
Next year?
Yes.
And what's so crazy though, guys, is it would seem that's the safest fight for both fighters. You know what I mean? At 160, because once again, if they're not fighting each other, they're fighting the Charlos, they fighting Andre, they fighting Darren Yevchenko, Danny Jacobs. So it seems to me that no doubt is the safest fight for both of them. So I mean, but yeah, man, it's just really crazy that once again, and I also said this as well when we were talking to Jorge, right, on the phone. I told him, I said, if I was Canelo, I would pull out. If I was Canelo, I would pull out because he's in a lose-lose situation. And that's exactly.
Yep, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's seen, on top of what Kirk is saying as well, So that's pretty much what that is, man. So now we got to figure out. Go ahead.
With the cancellation of this fight, this puts more pressure on Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn. It puts more onus on that fight between him and Deontay Wilder, because that fight, Wilder and Joshua, is the most anticipated fight that we can possibly make. That and the Golovkin and Canelo fight, just from a casual standpoint.
Uh-huh.
So now with the cancellation of the rematch, people are going to have more demand for the Wilder and Joshua fight, I believe.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Which
good point.
Which I seen Blue Blood Sports TV. He was reporting that Eddie Hearn, he said that he doesn't want that fight next for Deontay Wilder. But that kind of news.
Of course not.
Yeah, that kind of news is going to really start pissing off a lot of fans. I'm telling you right now, it's going to start pissing off a lot of fans. Hey, let's go ahead and jump into the phone lines and see what you guys are talking about. Because we ain't gonna be up too long. This is gonna be a quick show. I just want to get everyone's take on this breaking news. We got 786. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
Hey, what's up, Dante's Boxing Nation? This is Alex from Miami, man. How you doing today, boss?
All right, Alex. Everything's good, man. What's on your
yeah,
mind?
Just quick. Yeah, I just want to say, man, it's a shame the fight couldn't go through, man. Cancellation with on Canelo's part. But I wouldn't mind seeing, if Triple G might not choose to do business with Canelo again, I would just hope for maybe a Jacobs rematch, or I would like to see maybe Billy Joe Saunders after his fight. I would like to see the mystery of that style versus Triple G, maybe something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
And you know what? It's good that you're saying that. It's good that, the promoters and everyone, they're getting to hear the fans say who they want Golovkin to fight, because that was going to be my next question to the panel, actually. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I would like to see Golovkin go up against Danny Jacobs. There's definitely unfinished business there. I mean, if you think about it,
it's a very good fight.
Yeah, I mean, the fight kind of ended like Mayweather Castillo. Where it was a, it was a close type fight, and we know what Floyd Mayweather did. He gave Castillo a rematch, so it's unfinished business there. Another fight, if he didn't take the Danny Jacobs fight, Charlo. I still think Charlo, even though Charlo has a fight already scheduled, he already didn't want to fight on Broner's undercard, so that alone would be an incentive for him.
Great fight.
So the fact that I know for a fact that if Charlo got the opportunity, he would pull out of the Centino fight. to replace
Of course.
to replace
That's another good
Canelo.
match, Pat said.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. If not Billy Joe, that's a good matchup. Yep.
Yeah.
I also want to say I'm a big fan, man, and a big subscriber. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for calling in, man. Yes, sir.
Yep, you have a good one.
All right,
Thank
you too. You too, man. Okay. So Money, going back to you on that right there. So what do you think is most likely to happen next? And who do you want to see Golovkin go in there with next? Now, Blue has said on the last show that Demetrius Andrade had tweeted or something that Golovkin wasn't going to fight a southpaw. So your thoughts on that, Money?
Well, I think personally that Charlo can still fight this fight, and in September to meet Triple G if that could be made. If Triple G doesn't fight Jacobs by that time.
Yeah.
Andrade, to me, even though as good as he is, he's going to have to find a way how to work himself into the equation. That won't be easy for him.
Yeah, but we know in the past Golovkin done fought a lot of fighters that didn't work their way into the equation. So we'll see. Kirk, what about you, Kirk?
No, this is a little bit different with Andre. I got where you're coming from,
Yeah.
but Andre is.
What's up?
I don't think he's going to fight Andre just because that's too dangerous of a fight, especially with short notice. Preparing for Andre's style is difficult enough, but on a month notice, I don't think he's going to take that risk. That wouldn't be smart for him. I do think the best business decision for Golovkin, and this is also a personal goal of his, he wanted to unify the middleweight division. So I think he should try and fight Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders has a high stock right now. He's coming off injury, but his last performance was a great performance. You can argue that he defeated David Lemieux more concisely than Golovkin, even though Golovkin knocked out Lemieux. They can sell out over in England. He can make a lot of money and unify the titles. So I think that's the best business move for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. But was that? Because like I said, I didn't look up the news. But was that official, confirmed news when Blue said that Golovkin he said he won't fight any southpaws because he hasn't prepared for him? Is that true? Did he said that? Or do you?
I'm not sure, but
because I haven't seen the report.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. I haven't seen the report, and but once again, Golovkin is in a tough situation because all of those opponents are dangerous, and if he fights someone outside of Charlo, Jacobs, B.J. Saunders, or Andrade, I think the backlash is going to be there, because you go from not fighting and Canelo, him not fighting against Canelo. If he tries to pull another Adama opponent out, it's going to be a lot of backlash. It's going to be a lot of backlash.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so. He's gotten a pass his entire career, with HBO spinning their narrative on him and ESPN spinning their narrative. We're, the new media, we're actually shedding light on what's really going on. So I would hope the backlash is tremendous if he doesn't fight a caliber opponent.
And you know what?
He's going to fight. He's going to face the same thing as AJ. He's in the same situation as AJ right now, whether he realizes it or not. Sure, they're going to, the fight with Ramirez, hey, that's good. That keeps the light off of him. He wins that fight, hey, he can move on. But right after that fight with Ramirez, I'm telling you, like you guys are saying, the sharks are in the water. That's the crowd wants to see someone spectacular in front of him.
Absolutely. And you know what? This news just in. Shout out to my girl Michelle Phelps behind the gloves. She just threw up a video. Billy Joe Saunders, he just said, "I'm willing to take Canelo's place. Let's book it in for September." Now, but he's talking about September though, so that's not really taking his place though. If it's September,
right?
So, but yeah, I and you know what? That seemed just like you just said, Kirk. That makes logical sense, financial sense, and it might be the safest bet for Golovkin. But I still think, man, I'm telling you, I still think B.J. Saunders, he has a good chance of pulling off that upset. A real good chance.
Yes, he does.
The way he looks.
I agree.
Southpaw, the reach, the height, he can box very well. You know, I know
And he's big.
He's big.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. To reach the height, he's physically big. He's not just tall and lanky. You know. So yeah, he's physically strong. You could tell. You know, and he knows, and you know he's gonna take away Golovkin's inside game. He's gonna tie up Golovkin just like he did Chris Eubank. You know, if Golovkin were to get close enough to him. So that would be a tough fight. But once again, if Golovkin don't take it, you know, if he don't take one of these lions, you know, it's gonna be some backlash. Hey, let's go back to the phone lines.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's going on, Blue Blood? What's going on, man?
What up, Blue?
What's happening?
We got Blue Blood Sports TV.
I just left the Gerald Miller private press conference.
Okay, tell me about that. So how did it go?
Oh man, it was crazy, man. So a lot of interesting sound bites, man.
Yeah.
I came out and I asked him personally. I said, "What's your disdain hate for Deontay Wilder?" I said, was it the sparring session? What is it? So he broke down a lot. He said, listen, he said that he didn't like the fact that Deontay Wilder came out and was like, he gave him a concussion, and he said Deontay Wilder knew the circumstances. He knew he was dehydrated. He said that he just don't like how he goes about things. So I said, but it seems like you have a serious disdain for Wilder, you know, opposed to Anthony Joshua. He said he don't like either one of them. But I guess he really just want that fight with Deontay Wilder. He said he don't like how, basically what he came down to was he don't like how Deontay Wilder moves around. So.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of funny though, because in a certain instance, you pretty much said that's what it came from. That's what it stems from, the sparring session. So one way or the other, it still stems from that sparring session. You know. So right. Wow. What else? Was there anything else that he touched on?
Yeah, another thing is while we were there, one of the promoters came out and said that he got a direct text. This is a direct text message from Eddie Hearn that said that if Gerald Miller gets past Duhaupas, he will be the next person in line to fight Anthony Joshua.
If Joshua gets past Duhaupas?
Wow.
Did you say Duhaupas?
No, if Gerald Miller gets past Johann Duhaupas,
okay.
He's pretty much guaranteeing him a shot at Anthony Joshua next.
Wow.
That was directly while we were in the meeting. That came directly down from Eddie Hearn himself. So for all these people out there saying that Wilder's pricing himself out and Joshua, they want to fight next, they don't want to fight. Eddie Hearn made it very clear. And for him to come out and say that as long as Miller gets past Duhaupas for his next fight to be Anthony Joshua, he said that Gerald Miller came out and he said that he don't believe him. He said that Eddie Hearn is full of shit. He said he'll see it when he believe it, when he get the contract. But he would love to take that fight with Anthony Joshua next. Also, Eddie Hearn said that he didn't know if it would. He can't guarantee that it would be in Brooklyn.
He said he can't guarantee it'd be in Brooklyn. But yeah, you know, man, and something else that Wilder confirmed when he was on my show is he said money was never discussed. We've never talked money with these guys. So, you know, trying to put that narrative out there that, the business, you know, we got to look at the business aspect of things and, you know, he's going to have to meet my demands, et cetera, et cetera. Deontay Wilder has never talked to them, or they've never talked or discussed money at all. And when it comes to, because like you said, you just reported, Blue, that Eddie Hearn, he basically said that he doesn't want the Wilder fight next. You know, I still believe that this is coming from Anthony Joshua. Because once again, when you listen to his interviews, you know, you hearing it from the horse's mouth. You know, it's not like, it doesn't sound like, you know, he's this dog, you know, foaming at the mouth that's trying to get at Deontay Wilder and Eddie Hearn is pulling him back. It doesn't look like that when you hear Anthony Joshua's interviews. You know, once again, he didn't call his name out. You know, the reporter had to keep asking him over and over if he wanted to fight against Wilder. And even like a year ago, when Eddie Hearn was the one that was quick to make the Wilder-Joshua fight, it was Anthony Joshua who came out, said the contrary. You know, it was him that said, you know what, man, this is my career and ain't nobody gonna rush me into doing nothing, and I worked hard to get to this position, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I still believe, even though Eddie Hearn is the mouthpiece, I still believe Anthony Joshua, people, just like Wilder said as well, these people, we have to remember, these people, they work for the fighter. The fighter doesn't work for the promoter. You know what I mean? They work for they work for the fighter. He can fire them. Anthony can fire them whenever he wants to. So with that being said,
you know what else, Dante?
Go ahead.
So I was reading somewhere, or I saw a video with Boxing Ego, where it said Wilder agreed to the terms of a split with the Joshua team if they were to fight, where it'd be 60-40 in favor of Joshua. And that kind of actually coincides with an interview I saw with Deontay Wilder on The Breakfast Club, where he acknowledged that Anthony Joshua would be the A side, and that he essentially said it doesn't matter what the money split is, really. He just wants to make the fight happen. But he acknowledges that Anthony Joshua is the A side of the matchup. So if he acknowledged that on national radio or whatnot, and if according to what Boxing Ego reported that Wilder would agree to a 60-40 split, that just goes furthermore into the argument that Joshua doesn't really want the fight to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing about that is, I just did a video on that earlier. Shelly Finkel came out and said that they sent Eddie Hearn a contract now with a 60-40 split. And I don't know if that's the same thing Ego was talking about, but that's what Shelly Finkel came out and said that. And Shelly Finkel also said that he told Eddie Hearn there's no reason that this big fight shouldn't take place next. This should be the next fight.
Yeah, I mean,
I reported that Eddie Hearn came out and he did an interview and he said that no, that's not going to happen. Now Eddie Hearn is saying that he don't trust Shelly Finkel now. Now he said he wants to do business directly with Al Heyman. He said that Deontay Wilder has 3 promoters, 3 managers, and neither they don't get along. They don't like each other. He doesn't trust doing business with any of the other ones. He only wants to do it now with Al Heyman. And he said that he don't see the fight happening next. He said that he believes that Deontay Wilder will be fighting Dominic Breazeale next. He said that if the fight does happen with Joshua and Wilder, he doesn't see it happen until November or December.
Wow. I mean, but I don't know. With all this talk, it seemed like it ain't going to happen this year at all. It almost seemed like to me. But hopefully I'm wrong. So, hey, let's go ahead and take another call. I think we have an international call. We have 61. 61. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Would that be me?
Yeah, that'd be you. That'd be you, man. What's going on, man?
It's John. How you doing, buddy?
All right, man. Where you calling from?
Australia. I've called before too. So.
Oh, okay. Australia in the building. All right. What's going on? What's on your mind, John?
No. I've been listening to the conversation, and thanks to the headline news. It's great to know that the match has been cancelled. But one thing I wanted to say was I don't agree with any of you guys saying that Billy Joe Saunders is going to be a challenge for Golovkin. So I don't think he's going to be a challenge whatsoever. But
why?
So we'll have to agree to disagree there.
No.
Because I don't think he has the I don't. Yeah, okay. You're looking for some sort of substance. I don't think he has the power to trouble Golovkin. And as slick as he is, Golovkin will just go to the body, down below and up top. And I think he beats Billy Joe Saunders within 8 rounds. So quite easy. I think he goes straight through him.
Well, so. Go ahead. Were you guys about to say?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to say.
No. I thought someone was about to respond to you. No, but you know what? No, I appreciate you calling in. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Golovkin wins the fight. I just believe, with the height and the reach and his physical size, I believe his physical size will be a factor in that fight. And I believe he'll tie him up. I believe even if, the thing with Golovkin is Golovkin was kind of reluctant to go to Canelo's body, and that was like his, he hadn't been in there with a fighter like that at the time. He didn't really go that much to Danny Jacobs' body, who's kind of tall and rangy like BJ Saunders. I don't really know.
We're talking about 2 completely different beasts, though, I think. So I can understand with Canelo, with his speed and power, and also Jacobs is an exceptional athlete. So that I can understand. But like I said, Billy Joe Saunders he's not that kind of athlete. He doesn't have the same sort of power and speed as those two guys. They're completely different.
When have you ever seen anyone go to Billy Joe Saunders' body successfully?
I haven't seen a lot of his fights, admittedly.
Oh, you haven't seen?
No, I haven't. No. So
did you? But did you?
I mean, I've seen a few bits and pieces.
You seen the Lemieux fight?
As much as someone's slick, you're still able to go to their body. So, and especially like you're saying he's going to tie him up. If he ties him up, that means he's going to be fighting on the inside. Golovkin can still go to the body even if he ties him up. And as far as height difference or size difference is concerned, he's not much bigger than Golovkin in terms of height. If you look at their heights, I think he's maybe 1 inch taller or something.
I think he's about 2 inches taller than him. I think it's 1,
maybe 1.5 at the most. But
I'll look.
Here's the thing that I see about Golovkin. Golovkin is a mid-range fighter. He's not like Joe Frazier, all up in your face that close.
Yeah.
That's the downside to a guy like Golovkin.
Mm-hmm.
He's mid-range. Yep. You don't normally, see Golovkin that close being able to fire shots off like a Julio Cesar Chavez sinker. You just don't see that. Not in that style. So that is that X factor, what's going to make up, I think, with Billy Joe Saunders in general.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anything can happen in boxing, as we already know, but Billy Joe is just, I think his angles, some of his movements are going to give him problems for Triple G, that is.
Yeah.
And he has really good upper. Well, and Billy Joe also has pretty good upper body movement, and he's very fluid when he transitions from offense to defense, where Golovkin isn't as fluent. So, I mean, that might be a problem. And as Dante mentioned earlier, if Billy Joe Saunders can tie Golovkin up when they're up close, that can kind of derail Golovkin from really getting his offense off. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it does depend. I mean, I think they're operating on a similar skill level in regards to being elite fighters. So we never know we won't know how their skills kind of offset each other until we see them in the ring. So, I mean, it could be a really good fight.
It could be a really good fight.
He's not going to be able to time up for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's a 12-round fight. So
yeah. Hey, but thanks, Australia. I appreciate your call, man. All right, man?
No worries,
Thanks for calling in.
Catch you.
Thanks for supporting.
Okay. Appreciate it. See you guys. Appreciate the insight, man.
Okay. All right.
You got it. Bye.
All right, let's try to jump to another one. We almost about to get up out of here, guys. So we got 419. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on? It's Kai from London.
London. All right. International. Let's do it. What's on your mind, man?
Basically, the Billy Joe Saunders aspect of it. I think he has a chance, but he has to tie up Triple G.
No doubt about it.
He has a very good ring craft, and he's very slippery. And he's going to have to use all of that to his advantage.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And he was successful. He was successful nullifying Chris Eubanks' inside game, and not saying they're the same fighter, but he was successful at it. So that's why I said I could see him neutralizing Golovkin on the inside. And once again, since Golovkin has stepped up in competition, he hasn't been fighting with the same type of confidence that he fought with when we look at the Golovkin versus what's his name, Dominic Wade, Adama, Rubio. We didn't see this type of Golovkin against Jacobs, not even against Kell Brook, really. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Until until he just threw caution to the wind and said, this guy's a welterweight, let me just jump on him, And then, like I said, same thing with Canelo. So, I once again, that's why I don't see him as this ferocious inside fighter like Money was alluding to earlier. But I agree with you, man.
I don't see that. I see more that if Saunders uses his brain, he can outbox him.
Oh, yeah.
It's just down to whether he can weather the whole 12 rounds without getting knocked out. Mm-hmm. That's the key.
I totally agree with you. Man.
But it will be a good match. If he has that match, it'll be a huge fight over here.
Oh man.
You could definitely do a stadium, 80,000. They'll fill that out.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, Golovkin.
Oh, I know they would. Oh yeah.
Golovkin Brook was big.
It's a good financial move for Golovkin, and he can unify the division.
Mm-hmm.
That's his goal.
Yeah, and my guess is he would probably retire right after that, or move up to 168.
Yeah.
So
I guess that as well. But if he takes him out early, a lot of people are going to complain about this fight. They're going to complain about his caliber of fighters that he's had, other than Canelo.
You said if he takes out B.J. Saunders early?
Yeah, if he takes him out early, they're going to complain.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's what, like Kirk said, that's always what he wanted to do. That was his goal. That's one of the title holders. That wouldn't be that bad of a look for Golovkin. Now, what would be a bad look is if he knocked him out and then he decided not to fight his mandatory Charlo or give Danny Jacobs a rematch, and then he retreats to either 168 or retires. That's when it would really, really be a bad look, for your boy Golovkin. So, but yeah, that's what it is. But hey,
yeah, but you know what? You shouldn't really worry about what is a bad look and a good look. You just have to look at Mayweather's. Mayweather's used his brain.
Mayweather what?
He used his brain. He fought clever. He picked his fighters clever.
Yeah, but you can't compare what Golovkin is doing to what Mayweather did, though, because Floyd Mayweather.
No, you can't compare, but sometimes you got to you use your brain to pick your fight.
Well, no, but Floyd
you got to make smart. You got to make smart business moves, but comparatively their careers are a lot different. And also, at the same token, depending on the stance of the media, they can promote you a certain way. The media doesn't like Floyd Mayweather for the most part. Mm-hmm. So of course, everything he does is most of the media doesn't like Mayweather. So I mean, the mass media, ESPN, HBO, etc. So of course, every move he makes is going to be criticized and crucified.
I mean, because
Golovkin could fight a Dominic Wade.
Because let me say this.
He has to pick
let me
a great fighter or a very good fighter to replace Canelo.
And
That's his only option.
And let me just say this, though. It's a bad comparison to compare him to Floyd when it comes to thinking of opponents, because Floyd Mayweather, he fought Diego Corrales. He fought Castillo. He fought Gennaro Hernandez when he only had 17 fights. He fought Angel Manfredi. And these are just a few names. He fought Shane Mosley right after Shane Mosley had just knocked out Margarito. Fighting Canelo. I mean, I don't ever see Golovkin at his stage in his career right now fighting someone, 3-4 divisions higher than him, that's 15 years younger and way bigger than him. I don't see Golovkin ever doing something like that. So I think it's the contrary when you really think about it. Floyd Mayweather, he thought about, if it didn't make dollars, it didn't make sense. But at the same time, he was beating guys that were considered pound for pound top 10 best fighters in the world. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it's not that good of a comparison. I mean, I would compare Golovkin to more of, fighters that's doing the same stuff he's doing today right now. Like maybe Anthony Joshua, deciding, to fight someone else other than Wilder right now, or
too much politics right now. That's the problem.
Well, it's not politics with Deontay Wilder because he's ready to go. You know what I mean? Deontay Wilder, he's ready to go.
Eddie Hearn isn't ready to lose money. And if there's a sniff of a chance that he can lose money, he ain't taking the bait.
You say he ain't taking the bait, huh? Well, remember, once again, I got to say it again. Remember, Eddie Hearn was the one about a year ago that said, he basically said, we want the Wilder fight, and Joshua will knock him out within 3 rounds. And it was Anthony Joshua that came back out and said, well, hold on. I'm not going to be rushed into fighting this guy. When I'm ready, I'll fight him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know, man. I don't know. All we know for sure is right now, Wilder wants to fight right now. And we have never heard Anthony Joshua say, I want it now. Let me at him. But hopefully we get it. And that's really...
He said it in the ring that he wanted him.
Huh?
Didn't he say that?
Well, no, he didn't say.
He said he wanted him in the ring.
No, well, he didn't volunteer the information. The guy asked him 3 times. The first Anthony Joshua, he said, "I am the unified champion, the unified heavyweight champion." And then the reporter said, "Well, do you want to be the undisputed champion?" And he said, "Well, you asked me if I want to be, undisputed." And he said, "Well, if you want to be undisputed, you have to fight Deontay Wilder." And this is when he said, once again, we could talk to Al Heyman, we could talk to Eddie Hearn, we could talk to to my trainer, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, I want to be undisputed, So, and then later on, at the end of the interview, then when the guy asked like a 4th time, then he said, "I want Wilder or Tyson Fury next." So my point is, he's not voluntarily calling him out like he did Vladimir Klitschko. Before he fought Vladimir Klitschko, he called out Vladimir Klitschko. He didn't. He had
to because he wanted what he had. But now he's in that position where he's got what he's got. He needs to protect it. So if it means void the fight for now, for another payday, that's what it's got to be.
And see what you just said is too much of the truth.
Honest.
Yeah, you're being really honest. Go ahead, Blue.
But also, we got to be honest. Body language says it all, and you got to listen to his words. His body language said Deontay Wilder is not something he wants to do. And then on top of it, like you just said, Dante, if that's like if somebody says, "Oh, Blue, you want to fight Dante? Yes or no?" Well, you know something? I want to fight Dante and Kirk. Wait, what are you talking about? I'm asking you a direct question. You're throwing smoke screens up. I'm asking you a direct question that all you have to do is answer it. Do you want to fight Dante or not? Well, I want to fight Kirk and money and wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But you know what the problem is? You have to remember one thing.
And it's just for the sake of somebody could say, "Well, he did mention his name." No, but look how he mentioned his name. And look at his body language when he mentioned his name.
Yeah.
That's not a fight he wants.
Well, I mean,
no, you're right.
Yeah.
But he already has a plan.
If you look at when he wanted to fight Vladimir Klitschko, there wasn't no misunderstanding. I want to fight Vladimir Klitschko next. Point blank, to the point, and that's it.
Absolutely.
There was no dancing around the subject.
Yeah, and
but,
once...
But you do know he had to say that. This is what he had to say. Now he's in this position. They've got a plan. Their plan is to have another fight, and then maybe fight Wilder, or maybe have another fight after that.
Like you said, maybe.
He's going to avoid Wilder like the plague because Joshua is all about control. If you look at how he essentially banned Wilder from coming to the post-fight interview to do commentary for the UK, he didn't want him there because he wants control. Wilder is an uncontrollable variable. You never know what you're going to get with him, whether it's through confrontation or in a fight, from a stylistic standpoint as well. So everything's been calculated. Listen to Anthony Joshua's walkout entrance when he fought Parker. Master Plan by Rakim, Eric B, or whatever.
Yeah.
That he wants control of everything.
Yeah.
Like the way he walked out, it's like he's running for council or some shit.
Yeah.
Like
that song's called "Paid in Full," so that should tell you everything.
Right.
Paid in full.
Right.
But on top, but
Eddie Hearn.
on top of
Eddie Hearn is his mouthpiece. I think they're the same person.
Yeah. But on top of everything,
and then also with Eddie Hearn, I'm sorry, Dante. I was going to say also with Eddie Hearn, he had mentioned that through 21 fights, Anthony Joshua is the unified champion and has all the belts except for the WBC. So it's like they're making it seem like, painting that picture to the casual fan who doesn't really know much about politics, that, oh, well, he's doing everything in his power to fight everybody. But in reality, he's avoiding Deontay Wilder, who's that uncontrollable variable that will probably knock his ass out.
And Kirk, and it's not even just the fact that he's worried about not being able to control him and not, knowing what he's going to do if he were to get in the ring and confront him. It's also, the main thing is he knows 70,000 people will see the other heavyweight champion get in the ring and confront him. Now, that puts tremendous pressure on Anthony Joshua to fight him next. That foils plans to try to...
That's right.
Yeah, that foils plans for him to fight Miller, for him to fight this guy, for him to fight that guy, because now the fans, people who aren't too familiar with Deontay Wilder, they're going to be like, whoa, why are you not fighting this guy? Wait a minute, this guy's a champion? He's a champion too, and he's calling you out, and you want to fight someone else? And on top of that, like I said, when I interviewed Anthony Joshua, I said, Anthony, outside of yourself, who would you say is the best heavyweight champion? The best heavyweight next to yourself? He said it was Wilder. So when you make an admission like that, it is very difficult for you to explain why that's not the guy you're fighting next when you have already admitted that's your best competition right there. You know, so that's what it is, man. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is a money decision. I mean, you pretty much were honest with what you said. You said, you know, they want to protect the money, and, you know, maybe they'll fight him, but they want to try to make as much money as they can before the police get there. They want to dig that hole in their backyard.
I think it is this. I think that he wants to fight. AJ wants to fight. But I think over time, he started to lean towards the thinking of Eddie Hearn, and he's realizing that it's about business. So now he's playing the
it's a bad business move, because if he loses, that messes up money for other fights, right? Like Tyson Fury and other opponents, right?
That's right. But you know what? If he fights Tyson Fury over there, it'll be 100,000 people.
Yeah, but you heard my question though, right? That would mess up if Joshua goes in there and loses to Wilder. That would kind of mess up his money for other fights, big fights like that, right? Because you just said how big Fury would be, right?
That will set him back. Their plan, that will set their plan back, because now Wilder will mostly go to fight Fury or somebody else. Absolutely. Or even Dylan White could come over AJ.
Okay. So
you know, if he's in a situation where he has to make the right decision and not fuck up.
And not fuck up. But
and he better watch for the future too, because that heavyweight Yoka, in a few years, he's going to be making some major noise.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you know what? And let me just say this too. Deontay Wilder, he didn't base things off of trying to make the right decision, because he could have messed up when he went in there with Luis King Kong Ortiz, who might be a tougher fight for Wilder compared to Anthony Joshua. Wilder himself said he thinks that, you know, he's more skilled. So once again, we know who has the confidence in this situation. Hey, but UK, London, man, thanks for your call, man. Call in anytime, all right, man?
Yeah, take care.
All right, take care. Good talk, man.
Take care now.
Good stuff, man. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. We're going to go ahead. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody, but let me go ahead and shout out and introduce some of my lieutenants in that DBN tank that's always showing that love, and donate to your boy. Thanks to Gregory Wyatt. He said AJ doesn't want that smoke with Deontay. And then he said Hearn doesn't want to risk his cash cow. And shout out to my man Anthony Allen. He said good show. I appreciate you guys. And here, let me see. Did I miss somebody? Oh, yeah, my man, the Cali Enigma. Another one of the lieutenants I want to introduce. He said Anthony Joshua is terrified of Deontay Wilder. So that's pretty much what that is, man. But anyway, guys, yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, y'all. I wanted to, once again, let me just recap. For anybody just tuning in late and you missed the show, yes, Canelo Alvarez has pulled out of the Golovkin fight. You know, he had a hearing with the Nevada State Athletic Commission on April 18th, and for whatever reason, he decided to withdraw now, you know, as opposed to going through that investigation and that hearing, and that's pretty much what it is. That's what now Canelo, he's going to have to find out if they're going to suspend him, because there's a possibility he can still get suspended. So I know we talked about him possibly fighting Golovkin in September, but there's a possibility he could get suspended for a year to 2 years. You know, I doubt it, but it's a possibility. If his name wasn't Canelo, it would almost be guaranteed he would be getting suspended. You know, so, but we'll see what happens. So with that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And you guys can tune in to the radio show that we do. This right here was just, you know, a live feed that we're doing right now. But the actual radio show is on Sundays, Pacific Standard Time. You guys don't want to miss that. 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Okay? So make sure you guys tune in. Once again, we'll take more calls. We always have special guests, a full panel, and it goes down like a plane crash. So, man, y'all already know what it is, man. Hashtag Dante's Boxing Nation. Hashtag DBN. Hashtag New Media. Hashtag Decaf Busters once again. Y'all already know what it is. It's the nation, baby. Yep. Once again, thanks for my panel as always. Blue Blood Sports TV. Subscribe to this channel. My man Kirk Jackson and my man Money Pal. We'll see you guys next week, y'all, or later on this week, this Sunday. All right, y'all. I'm on to the next one. Yep.